So, welcome to another episode of the APEX Podcast. We have a special guest today. Her name is Melanie. And Melanie, please introduce us to yourself and tell us the name of your agency and what you guys offer as VA services.
Okay, sure. Hi, I'm Melanie Lau. I'm the VA agency owner of Tidal BPO Services. So what we do, we offer sales and marketing consultancy for startups, particularly in tech businesses. We also do social media management, anything with digital marketing. And we offer outsourcing service for sales and admin support.
Maybe before we get into the details of what you actually do with your day-to-day operations, can you tell us who is Melanie outside the VA world?
I'm a mother. And, as a mother, so you do hands-on with outside my professional work. I'm also a free diver.
Wow.
So yeah.
Where do you free dive?
I'm frequent in Cebu,
Oh, okay.
but I enjoyed free diving in Dumaguete as well, Siquijor, and hopefully Batangas. So looking forward.
So you're a mother, you free dive, and you run a VA agency. So how do you get to manage your time doing all of that?
Oh, that's hard. Time management is really hard to juggle everything from personal to motherhood to handling agency. So I'm really struggling, but working my way through it.
You're a VA agency owner, and how long have you been?
It started last 2021, but the idea, it was from the pandemic, during pandemic.
Okay. And did you go straight to becoming a VA agency owner, or did you start a VA career prior to that?
I went straight to establishing my own agency.
I see. So what were you before an agency owner? You said you didn't start it as a VA. So what were you before that?
I was working for a utility company in Australia.
Okay.
I was a sales and marketing manager there. So I had my experience honed with marketing and sales.
So basically it was a remote type of work.
Yes, a BPO.
Were you doing remote work before all this started with your Australian client?
It was a typical work setup until
Okay.
pandemic when we were pushed to work remotely. It's when the idea happened, like, oh, why not establish my own agency?
So this was regular work at an office. It was
Yeah.
an 8 to 5 thing, I'm assuming.
Yes,
And
yes,
then
corporate.
after the pandemic hit, then you guys decided to go remote. And how was the adjustment phase from being in an office to working at home?
There were perks of working from home, like it's your comfort. But then again, if it's a revenue campaign, because I was from sales, it's a revenue campaign, so I had to focus. There comes some distractions at home as well that you have to be very focused on.
Was this the first agency?
Yes.
Okay, setting up your first agency, what were the struggles in, let's say, finding VAs or setting up your infrastructure?
I started without like a specific niche. So it's more in the general, whatever clients come, then I provide service. So that's when the struggle started because I don't know which industry or which skills or expertise to focus on. So it's a combination of marketing, sales, customer service. But then as it runs, I realized that you have to focus on one specific service or niche in order for you to really succeed. Struggles when it comes to finding VA, it's really hard, especially if you're doing the hiring because you never know if they're fit unless they started working like 3 to 6 months.
I see. How long did it take you to get like the proper VA?
For VA, since it's a freelancing, it's really hard. Number one is to focus. We don't know if, especially if it's working from home, we don't know if they're handling another client or they're solely working for Tidal, for example, or handling a client. So the focus, number one. Number two would be the skills. It's nowadays it's very easy for you to say that I'm an expert. I've been doing this for quite a long time and just submit portfolio. So sometimes on that portfolio, it's going to be just client A. So merely by just looking at the resume, you thought that this VA is really skillful, but then to realize that they're not. So it's very hard for us to screen VAs when it comes to their skill set. That's why it's very important for us to have screening process to identify which one is really has the skills or onto the entry level, intermediate, and expert.
So currently, at this point, how many VAs do you have working under you?
Now working there 27.
Wow.
Yeah, 27. So it's a combination, marketing, sales, appointment setter, and lead generate.
When you pick your VAs, are they more of female, male, or are they like a mix? Or are they some sort of the same professional personality as you, like mothers?
Well, when it comes to demographics of VA, it varies. For sales, normally it's more male.
Really?
For
Okay.
customer service or non-voice, for chat support, for example, mothers. That's
Okay.
what I notice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, most of your client-based um, services, what do you focus on mainly?
I focus on sales and marketing.
So you have more males.
Yeah.
Wow. So what kind of sales do you do? Let's say if someone wants to work with you as sales, what's the product or service you guys offer?
Currently, what we're doing is we're doing some inside sales for SaaS company for tech. So it
Oh,
has a
okay.
longer sales cycle. So it's not like an on the spot selling, like an e-commerce, for example. So it's more of building relationship to client on first, second, third call before you book an appointment
I see.
and then endorse it too.
Are these all like cold sales or
Uh,
what's the strategy behind all of that?
what I'm telling my clients is to not really focus on cold sales. I know it's not yet dead. Cold sales is always a good way to introduce your company or services. But then with the technology that we have, it's a combination of warm and cold.
I see.
So more on the industry that I'm handling, what we're doing is it's a combination of email marketing and then the cold and then the social media management.
So I want to move from the VAs to the struggles finding your first client. What was it like, and how long did it take you to find the most profitable and lucrative client?
I was really lucky because before I established Tidal, I was working in the permits. I already have a client.
I see.
So my previous work, my direct manager, he allowed me to do some discovery session or to look for clients while I was working with them.
Okay, and are you still providing services to that same client?
Yeah, it's one of the premium clients that we have. So I came across this client. I did it. I was doing some building connection through LinkedIn. So I saw his comment and then I introduced myself and I said, I'm Melanie. I have this sales and marketing background. I decided to open up my agency here in the Philippines. I noticed I mentioned his profile and then his products and services. Then I pitch in. And then he said, cool. Timely. I was looking for to build up my sales team and then the marketing. Let's have a Zoom. Let's meet.
You make it sound like it's pretty much easy for anyone to do. How long did it take for you to close that client?
Since it was really timely, so I just closed the deal within that day. And then
Wow.
the it took longer when we did the recruitment.
How long did you find the right fit?
A week or two?
Okay.
Yeah. You have to interview like 50 to 100 applicants to refer to the client to screen. To do some clients prefer to do their final interview, some doesn't. But yeah, it takes longer. So let's say out of 100, you pass on the initial screening, like 50, and then the initial interview down to 25, down to 10. Then when you pick five, when they hired five, only three or two will show up.
So for the VAs watching this, to you as an agency owner, What specifics were you looking for the VAs that actually applied and passed? So what were the particulars that you guys agreed that, apart from skills, what were you guys looking for?
To be honest, I don't look at resume anymore.
Okay.
So what I did, if you come to my website, you'll see there's a video link. Just attach your video and then introduce yourself. So it's more of how you carry yourself, the way you speak. It's more natural conversation, like you speak fluently, for example, or you convey whatever you need. And I think that's the start. It's very important.
So it's more communications, and
Communication, yeah,
that's important in sales. And
especially in sales.
does it matter if they have an accent, but they could communicate properly, or is that having an accent is an important factor?
Not really. Some clients, they're okay with neutral accent.
Okay.
They're okay with it. And like I've mentioned, it's not just cold calling or phone call. You can do your outreach by just simply messaging, email, and such. So it's a combination.
I see. I see.
So
So it's
it's
not always about calls.
no.
Okay. 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 All right. As a VA agency owner, what do you put your focus on specifically to your service? To you, what pays better? What's more profitable and more lucrative in terms of the service that you offer?
I always go for sales
Okay.
because that's when it's more of rate per staff. Unlike with marketing service, it's a package. Let's say you do social media management for a month, I pay you, that's it. But with hiring sales agent or doing some on the phones or doing some revenue based campaign, so the client pays for base pay and then the commission.
So there's a commission part, which the sky's the limit where you could, the more sales you have, the more
Yes,
profit
yes,
that you have.
yes.
That's a nice concept. As a VA agency owner, what was the craziest thing that happened during operations towards a client?
It's more of the campaign. Like we were running this campaign, email marketing for I think it was Cyber Monday last year or Black Friday. Then when we set up the schedule for email, we didn't validate the email address. So it's more
Oh,
of the a negligence on from the internal team. What we did is with the constant monitoring, because we monitor, we noticed that there's a drop with, let's say, bounce rate. Like there's a big increase in the bounce rate. Then we paused the campaign, we looked into it, and then we noticed that we haven't really done the validation
oh, so this was a mistake within the internal team from the client, or was it
from the
within your?
client. Yeah, yeah.
I see, I see. So it's a good thing that you caught that point. Well, what did you do to sort of bring back the campaign back in order?
Because when we launch the campaign, part of it is to monitor. So we don't just, though it's an automate, like we do it, like we do some automation for email marketing. We do our monitoring, a real time one. Number one is we do some testing prior to launch, send it to our email addresses. And then during the campaign live, we monitor, we see if there's any spikes with changes with open rate, for example, and such. Then we jump into it, discuss, and then we tweak. Then we launch the campaign.
So as a VA agency owner, when expanding your team, give me your top three particulars that you look for when hiring a VA.
I look for a natural speaker. They're great with communication skills. They don't have to be conscious about their accents. Clients wouldn't mind it. Second would be the skill set, of course, your experience. It's okay to admit that you don't have any experience. We can scale and push you through an entry level. Third would be integrity, but that's
Okay.
gonna be evaluated during when you're working.
So how do you find out in terms of integrity? I mean, you can't find that out in the first interview. So is there a specific timeline, like 2 weeks to a month, that you actually test your own integrity?
Well, for integrity, we included on the interview like just asking some basic question, and we just want to see if the applicant is transparent.
So I've met a lot of VAs who, well, actually aspiring VAs who really want to set up their own teams and agency, right? You as an agency owner for how long?
2 years, just 2 years.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
So short under 2 years, what would be your top three advice for someone who wants to build an agency just like you?
Well, just build it. You have the idea, just do it. I've known people with have this great idea of building their agency, but they've never done it because of some what ifs. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if I don't get client? What will happen? Blah blah blah. So once you have that bulb, just do it.
So just start, huh?
Yeah, just start.
Where do they have to start?
It's like selling yourself. So of course, it starts within you. You are representing your brand, your agency. So if you're planning to put up a marketing agency, then you have to be equipped with marketing. Just with the platform, with the technology that we have, it's very easy for us to educate ourselves, to train with some learning materials and such, videos, and some experts, industry experts. Then you can just bank on those platforms, and you'll know the gist of it.
What's your second advice?
Second advice is it's always stick to your principles. You don't just get client to gain revenue, but you have to think what will it benefit the business. Because sometimes you'll face a lot of like situation wherein you'll advise the client what to do, what services to offer, and then the principal will come in like, should I offer this client to get 5 staff when you know that a 3 or 2 staff can do that? So it's more strict to your principle.
What's your third advice?
Third advice is to never lose your connections. Building connection, it's a never-ending strategy for building up not just your skills, not just your connection or following or what, but it can lead you to different opportunities.
So never burn bridges, huh?
Yes, exactly. It is a small word. You'll never know. You'll bump into your previous boss and then they'll help you, or even your previous staff, for example.
Okay, so where can we contact you or follow you, or if VAs want to apply to your agency, where can we contact you?
Oh, for any applications, Title BPO services are constantly hiring for great talents. Just go to our website at www.titlebposervices.com. You can also visit our LinkedIn page, wherein we are more active than we receive a lot of applications through Facebook, but we would suggest for you to just log into our website and then send your resume or link portfolio, or just go through LinkedIn.
All right, so there we have it. We have Melanie Love, or Title BPO. Thank you for investing the time and coming to us. And
Thanks for inviting me.
we'd love to see you again, maybe by next year. And for any one of you who wants to follow Melanie, you could follow her socials and go to her own website, titlebposervices.com.
Yeah.
All right, there we have it. Thank you for spending good time with us.
All right. Thank you. Good luck.